but I've had about 25 of these. and I'm not making light of any of this. But the one I'll never forget, and I can, if you take a moment, I come up with all 25 in my memory. But the one that I'll never forget was one involving a really bad person. They're all bad people. The one involving a particularly bad person that got mad at his wife one day and went out, walked outside the front door. There was a little 5-year-old girl, and I'm not going to go into any details. Killed her. And I can't get that out of my memory. And so I started about a year. I sat down with hundreds of victims and hundreds of prosecutors around the state. And I made up my mind I was going to do everything I can to protect our young people. And so I brought over Mark Lunsford, the dad of little Jessica's Law, 3 times. And I asked Bob to take care of the legislation. We ended up passing the toughest Jessica's Law in the country. It's the right thing to do. It really is. And there were some who pushed back, a couple of Republicans, a couple of Democrats, and we just kept pushing. And it's the right thing to do to protect our young people. We've got 46,000 registered sex offenders in Texas. Half of those who've molested children. I have 0 patience for that. That's why we included in our legislation, and the Supreme Court has blocked this part of it, but we included in our legislation that if somebody harmed a child, we wanted to differentiate it with the Louisiana case, went out and harmed a child, they're going to go to jail for at least 25 years, probably the rest of their lives. And God forbid they ever got out and they did it again, it was the death penalty. That's what they deserve. So we have taken a 0 tolerance for these things. I need Bob in the Senate. He is an ally. He works hard. He is one of the people that helps me work with the Democrats, work and get things done. You know, when you look at Washington, God, aren't we glad we're in Texas?
Amen.
When I first started doing this in 2003, people thought I lost my mind. The first week of each session, I bring in all the press, invite them for lunch. That's probably the reason they come. They get free lunch. And then I lay out about 15, 20 things that I think are really, really important. So I've done that now 4 times. So 45 to 80 different things, which we've done. 60 to 80 different things, which I've laid out. And we've got everyone passed. Everything passed over the last 40 years. And the reason is because we're probably the most unusual legislative body in the country. In the 2003 session, we had a particularly tough piece of legislation. And the Democrats were trying to block it, trying to kill it. And so I got all 12 of them in my conference room for 16 meetings. And of 1 to 6 hours a meeting. And I finally said, I've had it, we're going to move this piece of legislation. We ended up passing it 27 to 4. So I got 8 of the 12 to vote for it. And I'm convinced now as I look back, they either said, this guy Dewhurst is the smartest guy I've ever met in my life, and I'm going to go with him. Or they said, this guy Dewhurst is going to keep us here till hell freezes. And so we better go with him, all right? But you can work with people. The last 2 sessions, the 3,000 bills, a lot of these are routine bills, they're mud bills, they're mud districts. But the 3,000 bills which we passed, 97.8, 98% of the time, I was able to bring together a majority of 90% or more and get things passed. You know why? Because we've got friends and allies like Bob Deuell who, like me, looks up at the chandelier in the Senate every once in a while. When we forget it. And so every day we're focused on one thing, 5 letters, Texas, Texas. And it's amazing, my friends, when you keep your eyes focused on what's best for Texas, and you get everybody else going the same direction, It's amazing what we can get done. We've gone in and we passed in 2003 the model tort reform bill in the country. They said it couldn't be done. When I came in as Lieutenant Governor, we had a net exodus of doctors. We were losing doctors net in the state of Texas in 2000, 2001, 2002. Made a decision we're going to move forward. Since September 1st, 2003, 17,276 new doctors have been licensed to practice in the state of Texas. Companies going bankrupt because of these frivolous lawsuits on asbestos. I worked for a year in the interim, and we passed the model asbestos legislation. We came in, and in the 2006 special session, we put more money into our public schools. We said we want to reward our public school teachers. We put incentive pay in so that we can incentivize our teachers, and we went in and we did something we haven't done before, and that is we cut taxes by net $4.1 billion a year. What we're trying to do is continue to pursue a pro-growth state. Every time Bob Deuell has seen a speed bump out there, which would slow you all down, from creating more jobs, from building your businesses to growing the economy. We've taken a D9 caterpillar and just knocked it down. We want to do everything we can to keep this state growing. We want to protect families. We've gone out and protected the sanctity of life. We've protected families. We've had parental consent, parental notification. And we've passed laws that said marriage is only between a man and a woman, and then we made the constitutional amendment. I need Bob Deuell in the Senate, really do. I'm counting on all of you all and all your friends. Do me a favor. This is important. Every election is important. But if you do me a favor and go out and talk to 5 to 10 of all your friends, tell them about Bob Deuell, tell them what a good guy he is, tell them why we need him in the Texas Senate, I really would appreciate it. God bless you.